a platform, I think you have to be careful at the kind of information you put out, because this is a very sexist title. It really is.
Okay, we're live.
It's sexist. Yeah. I'm a female. That's sexist to me.
Yeah,
that's
I'm not.
Sakari,
I have a lot of love for you, Charles. I'm not saying it against you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, no, I get it. But
I'm not attacking you. I'm just saying in general.
No, this is the point I was trying to make. This particular topic was based off a woman's post. It's not to say it speaks to you all. This is just the post that we just going to listen to and kind of analyze it a little bit and kind of see how some folks are thinking. That's all.
Okay.
Anyway, to the people out there in the Facebook land, thank you guys for tuning in and welcome to the conversation room. We are back another week, and you guys can see we couldn't even go live. We already backstage going balls against the wall and everything. Anyway, tonight I have with me Mr. NDR too. All right, sir. Good to have you back. We have Mr.
Happy Manifestation Monday.
Yeah, happy Manifestation Monday. We have Miss Sakari, and then we have Miss Natalie.
Hey.
So, just so you guys know, let's go ahead and get this off the front. What you guys heard, the ruckus, when we were just coming into the room, you heard us discussing, I don't know if you guys have heard or saw this particular post, but it's kind of streaming around, and it's a young lady in a car, and she's giving her perspective about how she sees this field of men and her chances as really slim pickings from her. And I'll play it in a second, a bit of it, to just let you guys hear where she's coming from with how she sees the playing field. And then the next thing I was going to bring up, the two doesn't necessarily have to marry, but one of the guys sent me a message earlier in the week, and it was kind of interesting because it was just giving a reason that men, giving a reason of something that men marry for. That to me, I traditionally heard it more from the female side. So I was a little, I was like, wow. So we can get into that secondly. But let me play a little bit. Somebody got some clicking going on. Maybe y'all can mute y'all thing. I heard some clicking going on a little bit. And I'm going to play a little bit of what this girl is talking about, and you guys can hear where she's coming from this. Just hold on one second.
Picking through a pile of shit when it comes to men. Let's just call a spade a spade. We are picking through men that don't equal up to what the fuck we looking for. Let's just put it out there, because I'm tired of y'all with the bullshit. Either you fine as fuck and you ain't got no motherfucking job. Either you got a job and you ugly as fuck. Either you don't have a lot of money but you got a big dick. We trying to pick and choose through a lot of bullshit y'all bringing to the table.
Yeah, I get the frustration. I would say we're producing it too.
Oh, yeah, somebody else coming in. But the point is, you kind of get the gist of where she's coming from. And she's just like saying, she's flustered. And you guys, I know everybody doesn't subscribe to certain language, so I apologize if anybody was offended. But anyway, just to say, the chick, she said a lot more. But the point is, she was just putting out there that, she's really, really frustrated with her particular pool of men. And so I wanted to kind of bring this out there and just kind of, tell the ladies, y'all kind of talk to us and tell us what y'all thinking on that. How y'all see that thing. Let's dig into that. What's good, Bruce? Hey, Ava. Let me go from there.
Did you want to go first, Sakari?
Well, for me personally, I have to disagree with that standpoint. I don't feel like I'm picking through or sifting through shit to find a mate. But I mean, it probably has a lot to do with what you're bringing to the table. Because I think that for the most part, you attract what you are. So it may be time for some people to just level up. And then when you level up, you'll draw in a higher level potential mates. And then you'll be able to choose from, you'll have some decent options,
Wow.
So I definitely do not agree with her. I think that what you expose yourself to will be what you have to pick from. There in the world, there are millions and millions of people. And I think it's sad to feel that, you know, there is only this little pile of boo-boo in front of you that you have to pick from. I think what Sakari said is also true, that the people you are attracting are a reflection of yourself. And in the past, when I've attracted unsavory characters, maybe I was putting out energy that was unsavory. So I think you have to take some accountability for who you are and where you are, and then compare that to what you are bringing into your life, not just with men, but in every facet of your life. What are you attracting and drawing onto you? That's reflective of what you're putting out. So she's having bad luck, but and not judging her, but if we look a little deeper into her life, I wonder if there might be some other things that have unraveled and that maybe don't add up the way they need to.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Inyati, what do you think, sir?
I think that young lady is viral with every video that she makes, and she makes a video talking about every side of the fence, and she talk a certain way because she know it helps her go viral. And
So it's marketing.
Your volume went out. Your volume went out.
I can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Go out and come back in. Go out and come back in. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't come back in. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is a Tanya says, that's good, Natalie. What are you attracting and drawing into your life? Bruce says, teach Natalie, excellent points, sis. And I guess Ava was talking about the girl when she was talking. She said, tell us how you really feel, sis. But yeah, I mean, she was strong on it. You know, here's the other side of it. A lot of people are getting what they're getting. Because if we're honest, it is a lukewarm pool out here of people that's kind of circulating in this pool like sharks, but they kind of recommitting the same, so to speak, crimes over and over with the same usual suspects. Like you can go to any bar in the area, any kind of outing, and you're gonna see the same people, the same wallpaper, and the same behavior. You know, hey, how you doing? What's going on? You know, me and you went out last year. You was faking, but I'm separated now. I can go out. Same soup warmed over and over again. And I think until we step into a new way of dealing, to some, it's going to seem like slim pickings. To some, maybe not all. To some. Yeah.
And I think that's a fair point, Charles. I think that her ideologies, the way that she feels about things are going to speak to a certain group of people, maybe people that are experiencing a time in their life where they're broken in some areas, but certainly a person that is in a healthy mind frame is not going to share an opinion that it's slim pickings, because that person can see that the world is a big place and that you have access to what you expose yourself to. And that you are responsible for the energy that you put out to attract whatever you attract to yourself. So I think that particular statement speaks to a place that she's in her life right now, and that's why that's her experience.
Exactly. And I also think that it makes me think that she's out searching and looking for someone, when I believe as a woman, you should be building your brain, your brand, your body, you need to basically be busy trying to find your purpose and following what God put you on this earth for, and let this man find you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you're looking, then I feel like of course that's gonna happen, because you got millions of people out here. How you just gonna look at somebody and be able to be like, oh, he's the one? No, you got to be operating within your purpose. And then the other people that's in those areas that you're in, that's because y'all have similar interests and similar thoughts and things that's propelling y'all forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you just get out here, random folks, oh, you might be him. Oh, are you him? Are you my? I mean, it makes no sense to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And y'all,
I'm back. I think.
Right. Yeah, you left off. Wait, pick back up where you were.
Yeah, but to the woman's point though, I guess it depends on how you feel like you're talking about it. If you feel like there's only one person for you, yeah, the pickings are slim because everybody else ain't that one person. So no matter how decent they are or even how great they are, if they're not for you, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. If you feel like all you need to do is find a person that's sort of what you need, a decent option. You know what I mean? You might not feel like the pickings is slim, but if we're single, if I'm saying I'm single, then to some degree the pickings are slim as far as me finding the one for me. Because if it wasn't, why wouldn't I just pluck one of these options that's so great out of the thick pickings and make her my lady? And I would say the same thing for the women. If the options are so great, then what is the issue? I think she exaggerated it on the video. I think she, said it a certain way to have us on this show talking about it. But like I've said, I've heard her talk about how men got to come with this much money up front and this and that. And I also heard her say that she had $1 million vagina, but for the right man, it's on the house. So it's like she gonna say both sides of the fence just to get things going. So I hope that the topic doesn't insult people. But I'm in a group, a dating group. It's Dating Dead or whatever. Yeah. 90% of the people are from Knoxville, Tennessee, and it sounds like the pickings are real slim. In Knoxville, Tennessee, and it may just be because it's a small town. That young lady on the video, she's from New Orleans. I don't know if y'all catching her accent or whatever the case may be. So, like y'all were saying earlier, we don't know what her area is and what she's looking for, what type of energy that she's giving off to get what she's attracting. But I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people, men and women, feel like the pickings are slim just in that they haven't found that one. And some people will word that differently, but it's still true.
Because if you think about it, Yatu, the struggle can be real on both sides. For the person that's organically slim pickings, and for the person that may have the like heavy traffic doesn't matter if no one purchases.
Exactly.
It's like it's like Nordstrom Rack. A person can say, "Oh, I love Nordstrom," but we all know people trounce in and out of there every day and don't buy nothing. They go look and will try on stuff, try to see it, and then walk right back on out. So it just depends, on both sides.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that the idea of the law of averages works for any situation in life, right? And the law of attraction. And I think that, can you hear me?
Your volume it was kind of loud. Some noise was getting a little loud. It's okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I think that the law of averages and the law of attraction is in play in all areas of your life. Right. And what we really should be doing is shifting the narrative from finding to attracting onto ourselves. Okay. So if there's a certain type of person that you want to attract onto yourself, the best way to do that is to be that person and put that energy out there. If you are finding that you are attracting people that don't measure up to that standard you've set for them, I think it requires an introspective behavior where you look back at what you're putting out. And the world will give you exactly who you are. So for some of us, where connecting with the right person has become problematic, it's probably more so something that's going on with us than what's going on in the outside world. And that requires a level of maturity to accept.
Well, then I'd say then let's talk results. It's like, how long has a person been that person that attracts the right thing but hasn't attracted the right thing? Like,
I would go out on a limb and say that many people have not accepted that way of thinking, and you can tell that by how they sound when you communicate with them. If their words are always accusatory and they're always pointing the finger at someone else, then there's a high likelihood that they are not in that frame of mind, and that is okay, because people come to those frames of mind at their own time. And that's part of the problem, finding somebody that is in that frame of mind at the same time you are. So it really is about attraction and attracting what you desire unto yourself. So that's the problem. You can't control the other person. You might be in that mind frame, but maybe the person that's for you hasn't crossed that bridge yet. And when the time is right, you guys will meet each other. But I think the idea of finding, at least from a female perspective, That doesn't make a lot of sense for us.
Well, here's the thing about attraction. You know how you were saying we should get out of the business of finding and get in the business of attracting, and then saying we can go out and put out what we want to get back. The problem is some people are not putting out their authentic selves. They're acting a part to put out, and that's why you're getting the decoy actors, because you know sometimes we want to be at a certain place or feel we deserve this and the other. But in reality, we don't. We're not there yet. You know, it's good to aspire in a dream and want, but the reality is, look over your last three dates you started messing with, and there is a neutral consensus between those three. That's the reality of who you deal with and who you are at the moment.
Well,
that's powerful, Charles.
You don't get more than what you deserve. You don't. So if you're someone who's being fake and putting out an energy that is not authentic, the world will reward you with that. So you are exactly perfectly placed with what you are putting out there. So if you're not getting good stuff, and on the inside, when you go to bed at night, you don't feel good about the type of person you are, that's going to be directly reflective in your life. But at the end of the day, there's no way that a person that is working to be everything that they can be and putting out good energy, even if you were to attract a good, wholesome person and you were a piece of shit, that person wouldn't stay and remain in your life. The universe, God, would move that person around because they are vibrating higher than you.
Exactly. You can't fool the world and all the universe. And also, I believe that we have to take accountability in the fact that we are single because we want to be single. It's really that simple. If you want to be in a relationship, we can go out this door right now and get involved with somebody and get a relationship going. But a lot of people don't want to take that. I mean, you have to face that fact. It's because you're saying the different people that you're coming in contact with that want to be with you, you're saying, nah, I don't want you. I'm looking for somebody. And you keep doing that. So that's why you're ending up single. It has nothing to do with the quality necessarily of the person. It's what you're going after, what you're trying to achieve.
And you know, good, you got to.
I love to speak on that. You're right. You can't fool the universe. You can't fool the law of attraction. But what so many people are doing is fooling themselves. Self-awareness is rare. And it's because it's hard. Like, you're on the inside looking at you and everybody else is on the outside. So if you don't have people around you that can hold up a mirror and you're not actively seeking to see who you really are as you interact with other people, as opposed to who you telling yourself you are on the inside, then most people, they just tell you who they want to be and not who their actions reflect themselves to be. And a lot of people are lying to themselves all day, every day about who they are, whether it's based on what they aspire to be, or if they think in one certain instance they was that way, and that covers the spectrum. But it's hard to be your best self consistently every day, all day. But we all want to be that. We all aspire to be that. So I think a lot of people, and including me at times in my life, I'm sure, just aren't as aware of ourselves as we like to tell ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think we need to tell people, you don't have to tell people who and what you are, they're going to see it.
Absolutely.
You can just look at a person's behavior. Whatever people are saying 9 times out of 10, you definitely shouldn't listen to that. Just watch what they do. Watch how they live. Watch how they walk. That's going to tell you everything you need to know, regardless of what's coming out of their mouth, in my opinion.
And I honestly think that when thinking about the idea of dating, you have to look at that person in totality. Never mind what they are saying to you, or even necessarily what they're showing you just to you. Take a look at how they interact in their entire life. How do they treat other people? What types of things comes out of their mouth? What do they stand for? Are they rooted in any type of principle? Those types of things are a dry snitch as well. They will reveal someone's character.
Wow.
And also, I think a lot of people don't want to come to the realization they want to be in a relationship, but it's not time for them to be in a relationship. It's time for them to be executing something else, but they don't want to execute the other thing that they're supposed to be doing. And they're thinking if they don't execute what they're supposed to be doing, that's going to force this relationship to show up. When in actuality, the relationship is not coming until whatever the creator has for you to accomplish before this happens until that happens. So it's like people at a standstill.
And the problem with relationships is that they very, very, very rarely happen on our time. They happen when they're supposed to. You might be getting blessed, or God might be moving in another area of your life. Maybe your career is taking off or something like that. But the relationships happen when they're supposed to happen. And sometimes when we interfere and we intervene and it goes bad, it's because it wasn't our place to interfere and intervene. We should have allowed the law of attraction to bring someone our way.
I agree with that totally. I call that a wrestling with God over the steering wheel.
That's good.
I just read a quote earlier today that made so much sense. It said, when it comes, let it. When it goes, let it. You ain't gotta be out here trying to force relationships and force to be with this person and forcing them to be with you, and just let your life flow and do what you got to do each and every day, and everything that's supposed to happen to you, it will happen to you.
Yep.
It's simple. It's easy. People make life harder than it got to be, and I don't understand why.
Well, here's another big part that we left off the table. That's a reality as to why a lot of us are in positions that we in. And that is simply sometimes we want somebody who don't want us. Bottom line, and it's something about you could be a great looking guy, a great looking woman. You can have this, that, and other going for you. There's something about when a person sees you come out of that persona and pursue. When that pursuit happens, it's viewed as a turnoff because now it doesn't measure up with the persona I had of you initially. You're supposed to be this particular person, so why are you coming out of that shell chasing me? Now it's a turn off. And that's why a lot of people are in these situations. We run around, we like, but I don't understand. Like I remember this person I was trying to tell this coworker of mine, she was hell bent, like she gave me all of the what do you call the receipt to make the assumption in Yahoo. She gave me all of the story. And I said, well, it seems like this. And then she got angry. And I was like, well, why you tell me if you don't want to hear a man's truth of it? It was like she wanted me to listen, but she didn't want no real truth on it. She just wanted me to hear it, but don't tell me because I know what he's doing. That stock work, it didn't work out. But that's, so it's good, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's a frequent thing, man. People think like this, they want to be better, but at the same time, they think this is just me. This is who I am. And that's cool, but not if you're not being honest with yourself about it. So, I'm glad to know that business is good for everybody as far as the dating world. And I'm glad that that's a misconception because I remember a couple of years ago, a lot of women were saying that on one of my posts. And I just was like, it can't be that bad. And they like, and y'all too, you're not dating men. Basically telling me to shut the bleep up. And that's true. I'm not dating men. You're right. I don't know. But so many of them were saying it and they don't know each other. So it's like, man, it got to be some truth to it. But at the same time, some of those same women that were saying that, it's ironic that today's topic is that. I've seen in the past months since the pandemic make posts saying that maybe some of it is them.
About the women were saying
that they become and that they become.
I've heard men say that too during this pandemic, though. I've been hearing a lot of people say that, actually, men and women.
Say what? Okay. Say what
now? That a part of their problem with dating, they've been identifying that a large part of it was themselves, but that's what the pandemic should have done. It should have caused you to go back and reevaluate and reassess who you are as a person and take stock of your life. So I don't think it's uncommon at all that people are now reproaching that and saying that maybe they did have something to do with it. I think that's honestly a really good thing. That's owning up.
Absolutely.
But you know what? During this whole thing, you see a whole lot of everything. And one thing, what this is doing is you got to understand, as humbling as this time is, and it should be reflective, and people should be like, you know what? We need to appreciate life and do things differently. Some people are turning it to an opportunity, meaning you got some women and men that are not doing so well in the pandemic. They losing jobs, they getting laid off. So it's easy to come into yourself when you ain't got no job, right? It's easy when you're not on your high level. It's easy to be like, Sakari, it was really my fault. I was really messing up. And Sakari may have wanted to hear that months ago before the pandemic, but now the pandemic is on. Now, I'm ready. I got that ring for you. I was thinking about it. You're like, no. Don't get pandemic.
My ears broke, baby.
Yeah, keep it 100. Don't get desperate now. People are doing this in the pen. I'm gonna tell you another thing I saw that I don't understand, and I felt bad when I first saw this and I saw the trend. I felt literally, I was like, wow, like I wonder what's going through the women's mind. Like I looked, and you gonna go through your Facebook thing, and I literally saw women. Now this was in the thick of the pandemic when people were dying. Like they were on channel Fox 5 saying this. We had 100 still dying, and you would look. And these women they were putting on outfits and taking full-on selfies in their living room. And I kept saying, what? I was like, why are they taking these selfies in their living room? But the first thing that came to my mind, I could be wrong. I said, I wonder if some women are thinking, wow, this is the pandemic. We separated. Whoever might have liked me is over there. I'm stuck to my place. This person is over there. I sure don't want to be overlooked during this.
Can I offer an alternative?
Doing that before the pandemic?
Wait. Y'all's mics, y'all sound low.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, Natalie.
Can I offer an alternative perspective? And that is one that is psychologically based. I think that none of us have ever in our lifetime seen what this pandemic has done, because if you would have told me last year that America could be closed, I would have said, get out of here. How is that possible? Yeah. So I think that at the very beginning of the pandemic, when people were still dressing up and taking pictures, I think it was also an attempt to just regain a little bit of that normalcy that had been lost in this pandemic. And even now still, people will say, well, why get up and comb your hair? Why get up and put on a shade of lipstick? It's so much bigger than attracting another human being. It's about feeling as normal as you can in a situation where you have no control over what is going on. So I'm not saying that what you're saying doesn't have some validity, and that might not be, something that some people do, but there's also a huge, tremendous psychological part where people just want to feel like none of this crazy shit that's going on is happening. And whatever you need to do to make yourself feel better about that is what you have to do.
Yeah.
I agree with that totally, Natalie. That is so 100. Like nobody signed up to be on house arrest. We did not commit a crime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But be on house arrest with a little bit of movement to go to the grocery store or to go pick up some food. And so that can be hell for a lot of people. And I've seen a lot of people, judging people like, oh, you don't like yourself if you don't this and you don't. Yeah. And I'm not one of those people. Like, for whatever reason, the pandemic is not bothering me, but I'm not judging other people if it is bothering them. Right. I have claustrophobia, so I do leave the house every day just to get some air. Wow. But some people have other things that they need for them to feel normal, and it's a healthy part of their lives. And so, yeah, I don't judge it. I would be surprised if it wasn't just a very small percentage of people who are doing that, thinking they don't want to be overlooked or they're going to attract somebody. I see women doing it on Zoom with each other, with their girlfriends, having happy hours, things like that. There now, if you want to talk about it, there are some women who are setting up the stage for fans only pages. Yeah, and they post different type of picture to make some money during this pandemic. But don't just that either. Everybody get it how you live it if you want to. But no, I think this is tough. This is tough for people. No matter how healthy you are, no matter how much you like yourself, this is totally unexpected, and it's crazy. And it's something that no one has ever dealt with before. And so to judge how people are managing it, we might be being short-sighted and unempathetic.
You're right.
Especially not even knowing when it will be over.
Exactly.
That's really the problem. It's like we have no idea how long this is going to even go on.
Yeah.
So judging how everybody, I won't say everybody, but judging how some people have completely disregarded the shelter in place. We might be on punishment for a long time.
Yeah. Look, then you're gonna really see some, and y'all, you're gonna really see some graduation dress selfies. Because some women gonna be like, "Look, I need some help." They're gonna be working, they're gonna need something after a while.
Yeah, it's rough. It's definitely
It's rough.
Gonna go longer than what's being said. That they can't tell us it's gonna be 9 months up front.
Yeah, that's gonna be
jumping out the window.
But you might be right.
A month at a time.
Right, because strategically they disseminate this time frame to keep you within a certain mind set. And not because it's 1 minute, end of April, early May, end of May. You're like, okay, what is it? Well, I mean, with the short spoon,
I mean, believe it or not, these people know. They don't know much more than us as far as managing this situation.
Right.
They really just haven't dealt with it in this lifetime.
Right.
And it's crazy. And Americans are rebelling because we Americans, everybody used to doing whatever they want to do.
Yeah, some
people, I respect the situation because they're older people and I have family members and things like that. And I even though I don't think it would harm me, I don't want to harm anybody else. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people don't feel like it's their destiny. A lot of people feel like the information they're being given is terrible. I know how hard it is not to cross-contaminate gloves and masks. I'm wearing it, but it's like you will go through 20 pair of gloves a day if every time you touch something and then you need to touch something else, it's hard.
Yeah,
that's why you need to stay in the house. When you don't need gloves and a mask, because when you go out, once you're touching doorknobs,
you contaminated. Yeah, it's terrible.
Swipes and groceries at the store and all of this, a lot has occurred.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, y'all. So this is a good point to switch. We're gonna switch to part 2. Then we're gonna talk about the reasons that men marry. This is actually. Jesse sent me this in Yahoo. Jesse sent me this article. I thought it was interesting.
Okay.
I said, let me read this. Jesse, I don't know if you're still with us, sir. Anyway, it says, men attend women for 2 reasons, sex and love. But in most cases, men do not marry for sex or for love. They marry for stability. Then he says, a man can love you and not marry you. A man can have sex with you for years without marrying you, but immediately he finds someone who brings stability in his life, he marries her. Men are visionaries when they think about marriage. They do not think about wedding dresses, bridesmaids, anything that women think is fanciful. They think that this woman can build me a home. Women are tender. They have the capacity to receive and reproduce. You give her groceries, she prepares a meal. You give her money, she gives you peace. You give her sperm, she gives you children. You give it discomfort, it becomes your worst nightmare. And most men know it. This is why a man can stay with a woman for years and meet another in a month, then get married. It's the stability they want. Sex is a pleasure. Love is an affection. Respect is stability.
So let me say something to that, right? Okay. I'm not a man, so I can't speak to that, but that sounds like really good information. But I'll say that in that one particular instance, men and women really are alike because women marry for stability as well. So if he's looking for stability and I'm looking for stability and we can give that to each other, then that makes sense for a marriage. But if the scale is lopsided on either end, that is how you end up with relationships that may go 10 or 15 years and no one ever commits. So I do agree with the statement the man said, but I want to just share from a female perspective. We are also looking for stability, and the same things that he thinks that he can give a woman and she can turn it into something are the things that we're looking for. So that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, and you think about it, he's pretty much saying, but when I looked at it again, he was like, sex is a pleasure. He said, love is an affection. Respect is stability. He's judging his stability a little different than the woman, I think. Women sometimes want stability to be, you better have a job, so I want to be able to count on you, give me some security, make me feel safe, keep these lights on. You know what I'm saying? Feed us, take care of this, that, and other. When he's just saying, listen, my idea of my biggest point of stability is my hugest respect for respect. And he's pretty much saying his world is encompassed by a woman that can come along and give him this, I guess, you know, peace to a degree, or something like that. What you thinking, Yasu?
It sounds a little antiquated to me. It's true for some people, but like you said, what we define as stability may be different for every individual man. So I do know, you know, it's like, you know, there is a level of stability. That's why men call it settling down. It's like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this one woman. And I know myself, in when I was being single and just having fun, I said to myself, I'm building sandcastles. That anything that I build with these women is going to be temporary and it's going to fall apart. So I guess in that regard, I look at it as a stability too. That I'm going to build something that can last a lifetime, or even beyond my lifetime, as far as building a legacy. And you can't build a legacy with temporary people. You can't build something that's going to last 20 and 30 and 40 years and really be something with temporary people. So maybe that's what stability would mean for me.
Bruce Oliver says, a woman that can honor him. Honor is different than respect. And that's facts, Bruce. That's true. Let's see. Nola says, women are emotional, men are logical.
Sometimes.
Yeah. What you say? What you say, Yachu?
I said sometimes. I don't know why I was thinking about this earlier, but it's a lot of men that's acting like women but still want to be treated like men. And there's a lot of women acting like men and still want to be treated like women.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's it's crazy. It
was almost like
a post, but I was rushing to get on the show. But that occurred to me in the shower. Like, you know what? You know, herein lies the imbalance.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, now. Were you gonna say something, Natalie?
I was gonna say, I think it goes without saying that our time that we're living in now has seen somewhat of a gender swap per se in some areas. So I think that what the guy said has merit. I agree. But I also think that women are searching for that as well. Not the exact same things, but stability goes across the board. Everyone wants stability in their lives. It will make for a better life. So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, I see people in the comments saying the roles have been reversed and things of that nature. And it seems like probably maybe men are maybe more in denial about acting like women, and women are like hella proud of acting like men.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Which is a terrible dynamic.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
Yeah. It's bad.
So it's like, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
The alpha female is assertive and a leader, and can make things.
Your mic went out.
Your mic went out. Oh. Go ahead.
Keep going out.
I think an unpopular opinion, well, this is rather my unpopular opinion, is that, you know, women that are very strong usually are strong because they've had to be strong. And so the idea of them wearing that as a badge of honor more or less symbolizes that they were proud and able to get through whatever it was that was holding them back or bringing them down. So I don't think that it's done to demean a man. I think that a woman becomes proud that she has overcome whatever it is that she has encountered in her life. And truth be told, if you take a woman and put her in a situation where her back is against the wall and she's down and out, a woman will usually abandon her ego and come out swinging because that is just what is naturally in us. And so I don't think that it's abnormal to be proud or feel proud about that. I think that it can be toxic when you throw that in a man's face to make him feel less than. I don't think women should make men feel less than, or men should make women feel less than. But I think that where that comes from is from maybe having to overcome or being put in a situation where they have to figure it out.
Good stuff. You were talking last.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I was talking about. No clue.
All right. Carl, you can pick up what you feel.
Well, I mean, it can be for a lot of different reasons. So the reasons that you stated, I can see that being true for individuals, and I can also see, depending on the individual, getting married for other reasons that's, depending on where they are in their life and what's going on.
Yeah, true that. True that.
I think everybody's looking for a return on their investment. That a relationship or a marriage is an investment of time, energy, emotions, a portion of your life. And so everybody wants to feel like that they're getting something valuable out of that investment. Different people value different things, but everybody wants to do it with the result of it somehow enhancing their lives and advancing their lives. And if that's not the case, people feel cheated, they feel resentful, and because that's not enough of the example that's being set out here, that's not enough of the model of what people see. Unfortunately, people are biased and jaded, and running from it and or trying to manipulate it to try to make it work. It's a tough time. The examples we saw that were successful, most of them were from a different time, and we're in a different era. And those exact same things, I don't think are going to work in this era. And no one has come up with a formula, or even just an outline for us to customize to approach these relationships. And so people have to do a lot of work, almost like a job, to see themselves clearly, learn to like what's good for them. Be able to attract what's good for them, and then once they get in it, be who they say they are and who they said they would be. It's tough.
Yeah, it's very tough. And some, if you look at it like this, it's sad to look at it this way, but a lot of times it's like the person you embrace yourself to be, you believe yourself to be, in most cases has to be altered when you're entering into relationships in order to fit in with other people. And that's the sad thing. It's like you're meeting somebody that you can't be totally you with. And is that right, though? You got to say, if I have to alter my greater self, is this right? Why can't I be my best self in this? Why do I have to dummy down? Why do I have to shift and change to try to make it understanding for you to get me? You understand what I'm saying? That's the reality of it,
It works the same way in sports, though. Watching The Last Dance. The coaches had to change the system because if it was all about Mike, it didn't work it don't work for everybody. So bottom line, I can't be the same single in Yatu in a relationship or a marriage. How the hell is that gonna work? And then even if I wanted to be, I find that different people bring out different things in you. So whatever my chemistry makeup is, if it merged with Sakari, it merged with Natalie, merged with Rhonda, merged with whoever, everybody gonna get a different mix. So I was laughing the other day talking about a situation where I dated one woman who used to be late all the time, or not late all the time. She was late 2 times, and then she didn't get it a third time. And another woman, I knew her to be late, and so I would call in until I was downstairs when I was in the shower. And by the time I got there, she actually be coming downstairs. So apparently it wasn't being late. It's how I felt about the 2 different women and what adjustment I made to manage my time.
Wow.
And that's basically how it goes. You will adjust yourself for who you feel is worth it.
Yeah.
If need be, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Or if you can, because everything ain't, you can't adjust to toxicity, but there are, quirks and
they have therapy
and
accounts. If you want to change yourself, you can.
No. I'm saying you can't adjust to somebody else being toxic and make it work.
But I'm just saying your level of what you're willing to accept, what you're willing to deal with, you can't adjust that. So if you're willing to deal with some foolishness because you want to be with that person, you'll do that too.
Yeah.
So
that's why I
don't
said
think
toxicity.
it's a limit. I don't think it's a limit. I think it's up to the individuals.
I agree. I agree.
Wow. And here's the other part about, when you say sometimes we'll adjust and we'll change, the problem sometimes then comes, is this relationship at this juncture worthy of the adjustment? Because sometimes if you're the only person adjusting and they standing still, what's the point? They're not making the change you are.
Agreed. I didn't think in that situation, I just managed it different. I didn't think it was an adjustment. I just called at a different time. Everything else was the same. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. You flipped around your expectations of it. Yeah.
My family knows me for being late. So they tell me 3 o'clock when it's really 4 o'clock because
they know you'll be
that's
late.
how you gonna get. That's how I'm gonna be on time. Is if you tell me the wrong time. That's just how I try to squeeze too much into a day. I try to squeeze too much into time, and so it has me running late for a lot of things, unfortunately. So yeah, adjust who you are. I don't think that's gonna work in the long run, but adjustments like that can be made that doesn't change who you are, really doesn't change much of anything, but just how you dealt with it. Yeah, that can be done all the time.
Wow. So Miss Natalie, how about give us some of your relational wisdom
regarding what? I have so much.
Yeah, just shoot for it. Go ahead, just shoot. Yeah.
I guess the resounding thing that keeps going off in my head is that at the end of the day who you are. And every night you go to bed with yourself. When you wake up in the morning, you wake up with yourself. And even if somebody is there, you still wake up in that body with that mind. And I think that sometimes people are just not willing to accept who they are. But I think that a beautiful transformation can happen when you say to yourself that, okay, these are the areas that I'm toxic. What can I do to elevate beyond that? And then you're able to kind of see a shift in your life. But I really do think that starts within yourself. I think you have to take stock of who you are and be really honest with yourself. And some people will be able to do that at various times in their life. We're not always able to do that. I think you have to get tired of your own shit.
Wow.
Excuse my French. But I think as in any case in life, you have to get tired of yourself. Wow. And the things you keep falling to the ground, you keep hitting your head and you keep running into a wall. After a while, you say, what is going on? What am I doing?
Yeah.
So if the common denominator is you, well, then there you have it.
Yeah. Wow.
There you have it.
And now, it's almost like
Robert Lee.
Hey, Robert, he got jokes.
Yeah, but no. What would we say, Sakari?
I think the person running into that brick wall is the wake-up call, because a lot of times they're stuck in operating a certain way. But I think after you have so many head-on collisions, you might finally say, you know what? I think I need to do this a different way. I need to go about this a different way. But it took all of those collisions, and some people it takes more than others. Some people are able to learn from the collisions of others, and they don't have their own collisions. So it varies. It can vary across the board, I think.
Wow. And if you look at relationships, how sometimes I've heard car salesmen talk about cars, you think about it like this. There has been times years ago, I've been like a real car person, and I go in a deal and I'd be like, man, I really like that. Then the next question is, how many miles on it? And when they would normally tell me, oh, it has like one something, I was done. I mean, you said one something, all right, miles. But most of them will say, oh, for this car, this is just breaking in. It's saying at this mileage rate, this is at its most seasoned part of the car. You're going to get some good riding out of it now. And so in relationships, we tend to think when people tell us certain things and where we are, we tend to be like, oh, that's just too much. When in some cases, some people are better the more broken they've been. You're broken in, so to speak. Yeah.
I agree with that, Charles. I think that sometimes, depending on how you were broken, that you can use that to learn from and come back from.
Y'all too mad. I don't mean it in the bad.
Maybe you have something you want to share with the audience.
I'm silly, man.
What is it?
I'm
Yeah, me
silly.
and Cardi like, well, what's the?
No,
What
we,
happened?
But
we were thinking about
if I was gonna use the car analogy,
yeah.
I feel like more so like if you know the SL 500 has been out for years, but they keep improving it, right? They put one out and people drive it and they see what comes back and what maintenance they have to do, and then they go back and they redesign it and they come with a better version of it. So
Wow.
I'm still a Ferrari, but I'm not a Ferrari with 300,000 miles on it. I keep reinventing and coming back a brand new person. I believe that wholeheartedly, that I'm dedicated to personal development. And so I see, and people around me see, one of my friends who I don't get to talk to that often was like, boy, I remember when, you had a totally different mindset.
About you?
Yeah, he's talking about me, for sure. And I own it, it is what it is.
Hold on one second, y'all. Mr. Jason, are you present? If you're present, sir, you still present, say present. And if so, look in your inbox if you're present. Go ahead, step in, Mr. Jason. He said, this is the show you should have had me on. Well, step in for a second while we still up. Come on. I'll put it right there. Look, put your sweatshirt on. You might got your robe on. Put your sweatshirt on. He got his own clothing line. Put your clothing line hat on. And just come on, Jason. Come on in, man. I done put it in your inbox. Come on in, Jason. Come on. Yeah, what's going on? Robert Lee says, you have been through the ups and downs, the heartache, let's see, the ups and downs, the heartache and the brokenness. You have learned accountability and responsibility in a relationship because of the roads that you have traveled. Yeah, good stuff. Man, this is good. Go ahead, Yatu. You throw some wisdom out of me, Yatu. And Yatu has, he has a pretty vast relationship platform. He's always giving them the business in the comments.
Maybe I do have a lot of miles.
Yeah.
I really think it's an individual thing, and probably how we get in trouble is trying to measure up to whatever standard is out there and things of that nature. I think a lot of people don't really know who they are because they want to be perceived a certain way, and so they've placed themselves into a certain type of box so that they're perceived a type of way. And so I'm always excited when I meet people who seem to be just really free. I sometimes associate freedom with finances and what you can afford to do, but actually freedom is just not having any fear. Ooh. And I think that there's somebody out here to love everybody, the good, the bad, and even the ugly. Somebody fits you like a puzzle. And I think that if people dare to be themselves and dare to not hold back who they are right away, that they will go through the options that aren't for them more quickly and probably get to the person who is for them more quickly if they go ahead and just accept who they are, stand on who they are, and believe wholeheartedly that it's somebody that's going to love that like a fat kid love cake.
Wow. I think we also need to sometimes we got to take inventory of how we are in certain environments with certain people. And sometimes if we're with people and you can be comfortable and you can live your life within your space and sometimes even forget the person is there, you're dealing with a person that you probably got a good connection with. But if you're constantly cognizant of where the person is in your house and in your space, and then you get like, the movie almost over in a little while. That's probably you shouldn't be with, because if you're thinking about the long haul of being married or just ending your days with somebody, this person has to be like all season tires, all weather. You gotta be all weather with them, or when it gets warm, you're gonna be ready to trade them out. You're ready to cuddle up. It's not sincere. It's motivated by different seasons. So you got to get with people that you feel as though they're going to be your true brew Period. They're not going to be a bunch of maintenance to try to get you to change or to be something that you're just necessarily not comfortable being. You just want to be in Yatu. And they just going to be with Inyatu for Inyatu. Nothing more, nothing less. You know how that gets, man. What you think, Sakari? Sakari's pretty straight laced. She's going to come straight in. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm all about embracing the ability of just being. Like, you shouldn't always have to be doing something, or the person has to be doing something, because a lot of times that's what happens. It almost gets into a transactional space between two people. Okay, he can give me money, she can give me sex, he can give me this, she can give me status, so compared to, like you said, that comfortability that can exist when just you and that person, like, you just love just having this person in your life. And it don't matter if you go around there cooking or you ain't cooking, or if he watching TV, or if he playing a game. Like, it's something about when it just goes together. It's just an organic connection, and you don't have to perform for it. You don't have to jump through a hoop for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do that.
That's perfect, because most people, if you think about it, I think most people, when it comes to these relationships and marriages, people get exhausted because they're with people they have to constantly perform for. They're not with people that you can be yourself and they like you for just who you are. You gotta be the person. Like, let's just take Inyatu. Inyatu may want to be positive and be like, oh, the word for life, for the culture. And maybe when he get married, he might be like, the culture gonna be good. I'm over here with my wife right now. I don't like dealing with the culture. But somebody gonna be like, but Inyatu, what happened to your post? And I need you to keep doing this. You a fraud. You fake. Why do I gotta do all that? Why can't I just put down that for a minute and just dethrone all that and just kind of unpack? But we are with people, and Bruce says this all the time about we have to, at least as men, sometimes we feel like we have to stay in our superhero uniform all the time. We can't be Clark Kent. We got to be Superman, or we're not going to be accepted a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it'll be a little stressful sometimes. What you say? Yeah. Robert says, be able to be with someone who is who they are. When you try to change someone, you build a bear, right?
Well, Charles, I think it's also okay to acknowledge that there are a lot of people that were in committed relationships that live together, or that were married, that are realizing the person they're with is just not who they thought they were. So I'd be surprised to see how some of these couples end up coming out of this pandemic too, because they're having their own realizations during this pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
I've got friends that are in committed relationships where they live with the person, and friends that are married who have validated that, just saying that there are some things that they never paid attention to before that maybe they're paying more attention to. And the reality is that they're just not around each other a lot. Like, if someone's at work all day long and then when you get off, you're going to work, then you're going to miss some things. So I think that I'd be interested to see how couples are coming up out of this situation too.
Well, let me tell you what was so funny. So a lot of times I mess around a lot on OfferUp and Let Go when I be kind of swapping out electronics and little things I sell and get back and forth. And this is one guy who I kind of deal with a lot. He's a Hispanic guy. And he just messaged me. It was weird. He was like, so I didn't see you selling anything this big. I'm like, we in the pandemic. I'm not outside when I go in there. He said, dude, I need to get out the house. He said, sell something so I can leave, because he's married. He's married, but he's trying to say he needs to get out. He needs an excuse to get out and do something. Because all she want him to do is stay in the house and the family lives and family that. And he's like, look, I need to get out if I go crazy. So this is like weird. I'm like, wow. That's an ugly reality if you get married to someone with the mindset of just the relationship constantly being fluid and never standing still. Because if you're marrying the person, whether Inyatu's busy or Sakari, you running 3 businesses, you still are marrying 2 people. And you're supposed to say, listen, with all this world crazy stuff, what it is, it's still you and me. But we're in this whole mindset that we get married and the person knows that we running this business and we busy over here and we get to running and we get to running over there. And then when something like this happens, the reality is I don't think I ever stayed still long enough to get to know you. I like the concept of you and I married you. But now that we're standing still, I'm not quite sure who I married.
I think the flip side of that is that the pandemic has skewed, man.
Wow.
Everybody needs space. Like at some point, everybody needs a break. People go to work to be apart from each other, or they go hang with friends to be apart from each other. But that's a normal part of life. And if you're not getting that break, it's like you can't judge your marriage or your relationship how it is when things are normal, and then measure that up against what it's like for y'all to be in prison together. It's just not the same. So I think that there's a whole lot of truth to people not knowing each other in certain type of ways and seeing things about each other. But at the same time, I think the situation, the pandemic, has people in some ways behaving out of their character. And so it's a really weird space. And I think the longer we in it, the more
crazy we're gonna see. Crazy.
Yeah. So really, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
When it
Yeah,
come out on the other side,
you love that. Actually. Sakari always said she'd like to see the truth.
Yeah.
I love
run
that
it.
truth.
Yeah.
You
Run
know
it.
your next move.
I don't want nobody to die, nothing like that. But in some ways, I feel like God let the Rona happen just for me to shake some things up and move some things around and let me see some things. I'm appreciative, man. But I look at that like everything that comes to me is good for me, whether I can see it in that moment or not. It's good for me.
Yeah,
it's so good for me.
There's a lesson in everything.
Exactly.
Because if nothing else, nobody should complain about one thing. This is kind of gave you a chance to self-reflect, get a little peace, get a little more rest than what you have. I mean, you sit in front of the TV all day and look at different this, that, and other when you're not working, but still, it gives life a chance to be reset, and we can apply that to all our areas of our life. Reset every little piece of it.
Yeah. And when you really internalize the fact that everything is working together for our good, regardless to what it is, and also putting ourselves in a mind space where we can truly be content in all situations, not just when it's good, but even in drought, because at the end of the day, it's all working together for our good. So it's like once you internalize that, I mean, life is good. Life is easy for the most part.
Charles, I want to interject. Robert Lee said, question to the panel, what do you think about Jada Pinkett in her comment that she's been married for 20 years and she doesn't know her husband?
Personally, go ahead, Ignacio. You go ahead first.
No, I would let you tackle it, but that's not the first time that topic has been addressed. They after maybe 13 years into their marriage or something, they went to go see Ruby D or somebody. And she was like, how long you know him? She's like, 17 years. She's like, oh man, you don't even know him yet. You just getting to know him. And again, you're not gonna be on this planet 45 years and then somebody know you for a year or 10 years or even 20 years and absorb everything that occurred in that 45 years. But that's who you are. That's what made you up. So there's going to be all types of compartments and things to get to know when you get to know a person, because you never fully catch up. They've been here for a while, and it took everything that happened to them, everything they experienced, everything they saw, everything they did to make up the person that they are today. And so she's just seeing different aspects of him, seeing him from a different angle than she used to seeing him from, which is new. So I don't want to take nothing away from that, but you're going to always still be getting to know a person. And then we change it too. So it's really crazy.
That's the different part about it. People have a right to change whenever they want to. You can wake up tomorrow and decide you want to be somebody else, and that's your right. And if that happens, somebody has to get to know the new you all over again. And I remember my mom used to tell me that, during the course of being married to somebody, you might fall in and out of love with that person, but you work through it with them because you're committed to it. So I think that it's possible that you could wake up one day and decide something different for yourself, and now your partner has to get to know who this new person is. Right. And that happens all the time. Especially
do that.
reevaluate themselves, rather.
I kind of feel like
they have a right to and got to. Like tomorrow, if you were in a relationship right now and you decided tomorrow that you're going to go on a journey to be the best version of yourself, and this was not something that your partner was used to seeing, you have a right to do that. And then your partner can make a decision about whether or not that makes sense for her to stay with you while you're
Right.
going through that.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I said. I said that's what I'm gonna do. Every so often, I'm gonna wake up and announce that it's about to
Yeah,
get married.
you wake up and like, you know what?
better
I want to
know
be.
that. I'm gonna tell you that coming into it. That I'm gonna wake up every so often and I'm gonna be like, man, we about to reinvent everything. We about to look at everything and see if everything that I've been doing is still what's best for me right now at this stage that I'm in my life. Because what was great for you 10 years ago or 5 years ago may not be so great for you now. Something you thought you really liked and really loved and needed in your life a year ago may be something that would be terrible for you right now. So you have to reassess, you have to reevaluate, you have to make adjustments. And when you're dealing with another person, you have to allow and accept for that and anticipate that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with you totally, Natalie.
And I feel like with go ahead, Carter.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and you yourself should be growing and evolving and peeling back the layers. So you shouldn't even be surprised, you know, when you're dealing with that with your mate, because you're going through the same thing.
Yeah. I agree.
But I feel like in this scenario, I'm like, yeah, okay, so I know Will is gone for months at a time when he's acting and when he's doing movies, but I also feel like he does enough just regular random posts from home. He's outside his house. You know, he kind of expresses himself a lot for her to get a grasp of who he is. You know, even in his movies, he has a certain personality that comes through. It's kind of consistent. So it's like, you know, when I first saw her rant on that, my first thought was she just wants some attention. But you know, come to their house and give them attention. Like, here we go. And I'm like, I know you know Will. Look, you knew him enough to say that they were what back in the day when they first pronounced that they were it was like they were open or
life
something.
Partners.
Yeah,
life partners.
Yeah. If you were coherent enough to make that affirmation, you should know a bit about your husband to a degree.
Well, you have to just understand that, you know, they trying to be truthful and share their truth, but they're also marketing something.
Of course.
And I think that they understand that a lot of people are feeling that way, and they just, you know, you want to be relatable. So you go point to that. But for her to be like, I don't know Will at all.
All right, come on.
Yeah. Come on.
They want TMZ. She got what she wanted. TMZ talking. That's what they want.
Exactly. But you know what? It takes you have to have like some time to improve. I feel at times I have an unfair advantage in my life because my son didn't live with me full time the whole time of his childhood, and so that put less responsibility on me. I, you know, wasn't working 2 jobs or anything like that where I didn't have any free time whatsoever. But what I have found that unfortunately so many people in this country are putting forth all the energy and effort that they have and time in a day just to survive and keep the program going, that they don't have a lot for time to look at themselves. And that's not to say that it's impossible, but I think it's more challenging than what it is for my life, because I'll just be like, I'm gonna stop everything. You know, I'm a risk taker. You know what I'm saying? And I have room to take those risks, but some people do not. And so, you know, that becomes a dynamic in relationships as well.
Yeah, good stuff. What you brewing on, Sakari?
I was just thinking the one of the things that I admire about their marriage is that how they said at the door that divorce wasn't on the table. And I think that, you know, we're kind of like in a culture where people are just trading folks in and picking them up, dropping them off, get this one, divorce that, when it's kind of like marriage to me is on a different level. And, you know, if you can really fall in love with the soul of each other, I think that way, when these little different changes happen, you won't be ready to drop them like a hot potato.
Wow. But some people have to stand. But here's the thing, Sakari, you said something powerful. The point is, what do you do when people refuse to let you see the soul? They're only showing you the exterior. You know, you're not. They want them, but they're not letting you in. You know what I'm saying?
Did you get married prematurely, possibly?
Yeah, that could be. Yeah,
you
probably
have possibly jumped the broom prematurely.
Yeah, or married for the image, married for the image or something. You know.
That's what I was gonna say. I think that.
Pregnant, or or so you got to really examine who you decide to jump the broom with, because a lot of times nowadays people are saying, well, look how old I am, well, look who else is married, well, look who's this, when it's like, what does that have to do with you?
Yeah.
What do that got to do with you? And what your journey is in regards to marriage and relationship? Just because other things are happening in other people's lives, I don't see how that's tied into what you're supposed to be doing with your life.
Oh wow.
I think sometimes people also feel pressured to make a certain decision because of what's happening around them, or maybe the pressure from their family. But I honestly think that a better approach is to just move according to your own rhythm.
Right.
Move according to your own rhythm, and that other people around you have made all the decisions they wanted to make for their life, so they don't get to tell you what to do with your life too. You have ownership of your life only. So I would say move to your own rhythm.
All right.
Good stuff, as Charles was saying. We over the hour mark. I'm starving. I gotta get out of here.
All right, y'all. Y'all appreciate y'all hanging in there tonight. Even everybody in the comments showing us love tonight. We'll be back at it next week with something more exciting. We're gonna keep it jarred and keep it sparred. Anyway, everybody stay safe and stay protected, and try to stay away from Corona. Anyway.
Good night, everybody.
Look, hey, Natty, why don't you do Corona here? Maybe she'll feel better. But anyway,
right.
This Corona. If you don't get my hair done, that's it. I'm stripping out here. Let's do her hair all over her head. She just needs some money. Anyway, all right, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. Y'all be safe.
All right.
Take care, everybody. All right.
Stay safe.
All right, guys.